All right, guys, I'm going to share with you a way to solve problems a lot faster today than you normally do. And if you've got problems, things that you're trying to solve in your business or anywhere in your life, you probably notice that they take a lot longer to solve than you think that they should. Sometimes I see people that have been working on problems for like 4 years and they still can't figure out what it is. I was the same person. So that's why I want to share with you guys what I'm going to share with you today about how to actually solve those problems a lot faster than you have in the past, just by shifting the way that you think about the problem itself. And the way that this came up for me was I've been having a lot of trouble with my left shoulder lately. Like, it always feels like it's just in pain. And that's probably because I beat it up so much when I do CrossFit. There's a lot of overhead movements, a lot of gymnastics movements. And it felt like, okay, my shoulder really hurts. There's something wrong with this. But I went to the doctor and they said, well, you don't need surgery, because I was able to do a couple things that was like a stress test for your rotator cuff. And so I didn't need to have that surgery, but still it hurt like hell. So finally I submitted to the thought that maybe I need to get a trigger point massage. Now, if you've never had a trigger point massage, it's not like done in a spa where there's nice music and you feel good afterwards. It is straight up painful. Like, picture like big strong dude putting thumbs like into your joints and hitting your tendons, or putting elbows into your joints and hitting your tendons. It's everything that you can to stop from screaming while you're getting one of these things. So I go, and this is the extreme measure that I feel like I need to take, because that's how long I've been dealing with this shoulder issue, which, by the way, is a perfect example of why problems take so much longer to take care of than they really should. So I go in there, and I'm talking to this trigger point massage guy about what my problem is, which is my shoulder. And then there was a little bit of problem in my left hip. I was thinking maybe I had bursitis or something like that. And so he has me stand there and just stand at rest with my arms at my sides. And I'm standing there with my arms at my sides, and he's looking at me, and he's looking at one shoulder, and then he's looking at the other shoulder. And he says, the problem isn't your shoulders. The problem is your pectoral muscle, so your chest muscle, is pulling your shoulder forward because it's so tight. And because that's pulling your shoulder forward, it's also activating some muscle that goes down your back, and I forget what it's called, that connects to your left hip, and that's why your left hip's hurting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the pectoral muscle that's just tight and like clamped down right now, and that's going to make everything better. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking like, yeah, but my shoulder hurts. And I have to submit, because this guy obviously knows better than me. I'm not going to tell him his job. He's the expert. And I went to go see him because he's the expert. And so why would I not take expert advice? I'd have to be stupid not to. So he goes and he just digs in on my chest. And of course, I'm sitting there just like trying to breathe through it because it hurts so much. I didn't scream. Feel good about that. And you hear this pop. And this pop is the release of my left pectoral muscle. And instantly, I feel my shoulder give way back to where it normally should be, because he pointed out that it was a little bit higher and that it was pulled forward, and it was back and down like right away. So here's a lesson in this. You've got to separate the symptom from the actual problem. See, this whole time I was thinking that the issue was my shoulder, when in reality, that was just a symptom of the actual problem. Now, the crazy part is that I'd spent all sorts of time doing different exercises to try to strengthen my shoulder, like the tiny muscles in my rotator cuff, because I was thinking that's what it was. I would dig into it with a lacrosse ball, like push it up against a wall and just find the spot that hurt and just push on it and push on it and push on it. And I've been doing this for months. And not spending a terrible big amount of time, like maybe 5 minutes a day, but I'd been dealing with the symptom for months, and it wasn't going away because I was never treating the problem. We always want to look at the symptoms because those are the easiest things to find. But then what happens is we fix those, and then nothing happens, and we're left with wondering what the problem is. So let's translate this idea and the story that I just shared towards a business application, because I recognize most of the people that listen to the show, watch this channel, are looking for some type of wealth. They want to make more money in what they do in their business. And so let's take a look at this in the context of business. So if your problem, and I'll use quotes on the problem, is that you don't have enough sales, that could be the problem. But more likely, it's a symptom. It's a symptom of another problem that if that other problem is fixed, it's going to essentially blow the dam, and you're going to have this flood of sales coming in. So let's take a look just to give you some examples of what the real problem could be instead of not enough sales. Not enough sales is simply a result of another problem, so it's a symptom. So it could be that your sales process sucks. It could be that right now you've got a 2-step sales process and you really need a 1-step sales process or a 4-step sales process. Your process of how you are framing the prospect, how you are getting the prospect to share what they really need, and how you are framing your offer might really be the thing that sucks. That might need to be what changes. Problem isn't enough sales. Your problem is that your sales process sucks, or it could be that your salesperson sucks. If you've contracted out sales, and this was one of the hardest things for me to recognize, and one of my biggest lessons over the last 18 months was when I would solely be responsible for sales on cold traffic. I was closing about 32%, which is really good, right? I was very happy with closing 32% on cold traffic, meaning the people didn't know me. We just got on the phone and it was a 1-call close, and it was $8,000 to $10,000 offer depending on where I was mentally with it from the beginning to the closer to the end of when I was making this offer. And it would close about 32%. I brought in salespeople and they were closing about 15%. And I kept on wondering, like, why can't they close the same offer as I can? What's different about what I do? And I was thinking, it's not that we don't have enough sales, it's that the salesperson sucks. But in reality, I sucked in that because they weren't even the problem. The real problem in that, because that was just a symptom, salespeople suck. The real problem in that was that I changed jobs. I was no longer a salesperson. I had to develop the skill of recruiting, hiring, training, and managing salespeople. Different skill. So it was a different problem altogether. Your problem of not enough sales could also be that you don't have enough leads. And if you just had more leads, you're closing at a reasonable percentage rate. So let's call it like 20% is usually pretty good on closing when you're doing it on cold traffic coming in from whatever source you're bringing it in from. That doesn't need to be just internet cold traffic. That can be cold traffic from any source. If you're closing 20% on that, usually doing okay in that, and you simply could just have a matter of driving more leads, and more leads will deliver more closes, and it'll be as simple as that, and you can find your way out of the problem that way. It could be, though, that you haven't differentiated your offer in the marketplace. That could be the real problem of why you don't have enough sales. Your offer looks just like everybody else's offer. There's no real ideal outcome that's provided by what you have. There's no certainty in the prospects that they're going to get what their ideal outcome is. You've got a massive time delay, and it's going to take a lot of effort and sacrifice on their part. So it simply could be that your offer isn't good enough. It's not differentiated. It's not clear enough, and that's why you don't have enough sales. That was actually one of my problems when I was going through a couple different iterations of an offer last year, was that it wasn't clear on exactly what the prospect was getting. The product was great, but exactly what it was delivering was requiring the prospect to think. And that's why I had the problem of not enough sales to keep up with ad spend at a return that I was satisfied with. So let's take a look at one more where it could be that it's not you don't have enough sales, that's the symptom, but the actual problem, which is your offer could suck. Like it simply could just suck, meaning that you thought it was a great idea whenever you started your business and the marketplace didn't agree. And that's a constant conversation that I have with clients about marketing in general. Sales is more of a science. Like if you've got a good offer or a decent offer, you can sell it because there's techniques and tactics that you can use for persuasion and influence that will help the prospect get what they need. But let's just say that your offer sucks. Your idea was one that somebody just didn't want to have, or the marketplace in general didn't want to have. Now that was my case when I made a clothing company for outdoor obstacle course racing athletes, like muddy obstacle course races, Spartan and Tough Mudder. And the thing about it was that my product was good, but my offer sucked. So what I did was I over-engineered a product, made it too good, made it too expensive for my target market. I just overshot the market. Very valuable lesson, very expensive lesson, but my offer just sucked. So not enough sales wasn't about that I had the wrong styles, that I had the wrong colors, that I didn't have the right sizing or anything like that. It was that the proposition of my offer of a premium product for people that wanted a lower tier product, my offer simply sucked. Sometimes drilling down like that, and I've given you just a couple of examples here, but sometimes drilling down like that helps you find the real problem. But the way that you do this and the way that you ask this question is, let's say that your problem was not enough sales. Then you say, okay, well, what's contributing to my lack of sales? And that's just a brainstorming session. Spend 20 minutes doing that and you'll figure out really all the things that could be contributing to it. And then if the answer is like readily apparent, oh, that's the problem, then fix that. But if it's not, then you have to go in a systematic way of fixing one thing, then another thing, then another thing, and that's going to be there. So if you don't know, you do have to test. You pick one possibility, you fix that, see what happens. And if the problem doesn't go away, then you simply move on down the line to get to the next thing that you have to fix. So the core thing here, guys, is that you really have to separate the symptom from the problem itself. It's just like having a cold. You have a runny nose is a symptom of having a cold. You have a cough, that's a symptom of having a cold. It's not the problem itself. It's just something that can be treated on the outside, but doesn't really make the problem go away. So if you search down past this surface level of symptoms, you will solve your problems a lot faster by working on the right thing instead of wasting your time on the wrong thing. Of course, as always, if you liked this episode, if it gave you something, smash the like button for me and the subscribe button. Brand new videos come out 3 times a week. I don't want you to miss any single one of those. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next video.